Hi, my name is Lidia Dinkova, commercial real estate reporter in South Florida for The Real Deal. Today, we're at the Nora District. What is the Nora District? It's 40 acres spanning from Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard south to Quadro Boulevard and from the FEC Railway east to Dixie Highway. For years, city officials in West Palm have been trying to breathe life into this area of downtown, but to no avail. A 2009 rezoning didn't bring much development or investment. About 7 years ago, things changed. Two development firms, NDT Development and Place Projects, saw the potential of the Nora District.
My partners, Ned Grace and NDT Development, they originally saw the vision for this area. And basically they were doing some work on Palm Beach Island and kept coming back over the bridge to West Palm and noticed this area that seemed very underutilized. Originally, the idea was to acquire a building or two and self-concept an operating business and hopefully have some success. And after the first property went under contract, they thought there could be a bigger vision for the area. That's when the idea for Nora was born. And then we've of course been working very diligently and hard since that time in 2018, and here we are in 2025 and have our first few businesses open.
It's best to look at the district from an aerial perspective. It's got different pockets that lend themselves to a variety of uses. While on the northern and southern end of Nora, where there are more empty lots, the developers plan mid-rises and high-rises. But they started with the first phase, which is the adaptive reuse of warehouses along Railroad Avenue.
This project is really a blend of adaptive reuse, preservation of character and scale, and then new development. For the first phase that you mentioned, we acquired 11 existing buildings. We've retained 9 of them. We built 4 new ones. So there are 13 individual buildings that comprise about 160,000 square feet of space.
And this is where we are today. We're standing on the 3rd floor of the 925 North Railroad Avenue building. It used to be used for paper storage. Now it's being reimagined as offices or retail or other commercial uses. The 3-story building, originally completed in 1925, has elements that harken back to old South Florida. Think Dade County pine floors and massive arched windows.
This is really about the preservation of that and trying to bring that to life in a vibrancy district. We tried to keep where we could a lot of the original openings. We have one building in particular we call the 925 building, which has these beautiful archway openings. We retained those. That building, the additional floor plates as you got up the building were all built out of Dade County pine. We were able to retain all of that.
NDT Development, Place Projects, and their partner, Wheelock Street Capital, are completing the first phase, or the adaptive reuse of North Railroad Avenue, this year. Tenants on tap to open along North Railroad Avenue include Mediterranean restaurant Del Mar, Warby Parker, clothing boutique Mint, jewelry store Loose, and Sweatsport 40, plus more.
It wasn't difficult because that's really the nature and the ethos of what we were trying to accomplish. So our job was to try to preserve as much as we could while making sure we really modernized the buildings and didn't cut any costs or corners, because we really want this to be a project of really best-in-class development and be able to attract the types of users that we want. We want to ensure we had beautiful, well-positioned buildings for those.
So far, the only ground-up construction is the development of the Nora Hotel, which the developers are building in partnership with Sean McPherson and BD Hotels. Recently, NDT Development, Place Projects, and Wheelock Street Capital revealed plans for the first residential ground-up construction, 2 11-story buildings, one with condos and one with multifamily.
The Nora Hotel is basically the beginning of the new development, but still ties into, of course, the existing North Railroad Avenue Main Street. The first is a multifamily project that we hope to break ground on in the first quarter of next year. That's a 350-unit multifamily project, really beautifully designed. And then we launched sales for our first condo project, which is 122 units that sits just east of the multifamily building, and that'll launch sales this season.
The planned residential construction at Nora comes at a difficult time for development in South Florida, and nationwide. Interest rates are still elevated, insurance is still expensive, construction costs are still higher, and in South Florida, developers of recently completed buildings are struggling with apartment lease-ups and slower condo sales.
So the whole ethos of what we're doing is that the North Railroad Avenue, the adaptive reuse, that first phase, this scale will remain in perpetuity. The multifamily and the condo, you mentioned, has 11 stories. That's 125 feet. When you go to the next block north, it ranges between 230 feet and 305 feet. So the idea is this transitional zoning But as you sort of get away from the very human-centric, low-rise, really built in the human scale, you get this transitional zoning, which goes higher and creates more intensity and capacity. So the reason why this is so unique for an urban environment is because typically in the real estate business, you don't have an opportunity to really control these two very different product types. And we got very fortunate with the acquisitions that we were able to make, that we're able to do that and really think about this somewhat as a planned development, but in an urban context, which is what I think makes it feel really special to the user that's coming to the district.
Downtown West Palm development has so far mostly focused on areas south of here. Think Jeff Greene and developer Steve Ross's glitzy condo, office, and apartment towers. Yet, NDT Development Place Projects and Wheelock Street Capital have remained steadfast on their focus of the Nora District in the northern end of downtown West Palm.
So we have the confidence, we have the strength. Obviously, we have an amazing capital partner who saw the vision and wanted to support it. And when we think about differentiation between residential offerings, for sale, for rent, whatever it might be, the beauty of what we're creating is this holistic experience. So we think this is much different than building an apartment building just on a site that doesn't have the connectivity to the amenities that we have here.
To learn more about the Nora District, downtown West Palm, and South Florida, tune in to therealdeal.com.